The most revealing moment is not when a man tells you he likes you. It is the moment he realizes he is starting to care, and something inside him immediately tries to pull him back. Because attraction is easy to hide when it is only attraction. A man can find you beautiful, enjoy your company, desire you, and still walk away feeling completely in control of himself. But attachment is different. Attachment begins when your presence starts affecting his emotional state, when your absence becomes noticeable, when your opinion suddenly carries weight, and when losing access to you stops feeling like a simple inconvenience and starts feeling like a loss. That is the point where something changes inside him, because now he is no longer trying to hide that he wants you. He is trying to hide that you are beginning to matter to him. And that is why a man can sometimes look strangely calm when he is falling for you. You may expect his feelings to make him more obvious, more expressive, more eager. Instead, he can become more controlled. He watches himself. He measures what he reveals. He catches himself paying too much attention and pulls it back. He notices that he is becoming curious about you in ways that go beyond ordinary interest, and he tries to convince himself that it means nothing. The more emotionally significant you become, the more aware he becomes of the possibility that you could affect him. And for a man who is used to feeling emotionally self-sufficient, that realization can be uncomfortable. At first, he may not even recognize what is happening. He simply notices that he remembers things about you that he normally would have forgotten. Something you mentioned casually stays in his mind. A particular expression on your face comes back to him later. He notices changes in your mood without consciously deciding to watch for them. He begins anticipating how you might react to certain things. None of this feels like a major event while it is happening, but psychologically, it is significant. His attention is becoming involuntary. You are no longer someone he notices when you are directly in front of him. You are beginning to exist in his mind when you are somewhere else. That is where attraction begins turning into attachment. Because attraction says, I like what I see. Attachment says, your existence has started occupying space inside me. And that difference explains why his behavior can become so confusing. He may still behave as though nothing has changed, but he starts giving you a different kind of attention. Not necessarily constant attention, and not always obvious attention. It can be hidden inside small observations. He remembers what makes you uncomfortable. He notices when your energy changes. He can tell when you are pretending to be fine. He becomes unusually aware of your reactions because your reactions have started carrying emotional information for him. He is no longer simply experiencing you. He is studying the emotional space between you. And he may not realize that this is happening because attachment rarely arrives with an announcement. It develops through repetition. The more meaningful interactions he has with you, the more familiar you become to his nervous system. Your presence begins creating a particular emotional state inside him. Eventually, he doesn't simply enjoy seeing you. He begins expecting the feeling that comes with seeing you. That is when your absence starts becoming louder. He may not say that he misses you. He may not even consciously admit that he does. Instead, you notice that something feels different when you are not around. He becomes more aware of the empty space where your presence usually exists. A person who was once just part of his environment has become part of his emotional routine, and removing that person creates a disturbance. This is one of the reasons a man can become unusually attentive when he senses distance between you. It isn't always about jealousy or possession. Sometimes it is much simpler and much more vulnerable. He has become accustomed to the connection, and suddenly he realizes that the connection is not guaranteed. That realization can frighten him. Because liking someone is exciting when you believe you can walk away untouched. Falling for someone becomes frightening when you realize walking away would actually hurt. And that is when he starts protecting himself. He may become slightly more guarded after moments of closeness. He may reveal something personal and then become quieter afterward. He may allow you to see a softer part of him, then instinctively try to restore the emotional distance he had before. You might wonder why he became more distant precisely after becoming closer. But sometimes closeness creates awareness. He suddenly realizes that he showed you something he normally keeps protected, and because you matter more than he expected, that vulnerability feels dangerous. He is not necessarily pulling away because he feels less. Sometimes he pulls back because he suddenly feels too much. The deeper psychological shift happens when your opinion of him starts mattering. Before attachment, being misunderstood by someone is easy to dismiss. But once he cares about you, your perception of him becomes emotionally valuable. He wants you to understand his intentions. He cares whether you think badly of him. He may explain himself when he normally would have let the misunderstanding remain. He becomes more conscious of how he appears around you because somewhere inside, your opinion has moved from irrelevant information to something that can affect him. And he may hate that change, because it means you have gained influence without asking for it. You don't have to demand his attention. You don't have to ask him to care. You don't have to force emotional closeness. His mind has already begun assigning importance to you, and that importance changes his behavior automatically. This is also why he may start making small sacrifices that seem insignificant when viewed individually. He adjusts his plans. He remembers what matters to you. He makes room where there previously wasn't any. He starts considering your comfort before making certain decisions. He may never announce that he is doing these things because announcing them would expose the very thing he is trying to conceal. The change happens quietly. Your convenience begins entering his calculations. That is attachment revealing itself through behavior. And then comes the moment that exposes him more than anything else, when he thinks he might lose you. When everything feels secure, he can continue pretending that he is unaffected. He can tell himself that he simply enjoys your presence. But uncertainty forces the mind to calculate value. The possibility of your absence makes him confront what your presence has been giving him. Suddenly, the thought of someone else becoming important to you feels different. The thought of you emotionally moving away feels different. The thought of not being part of your life anymore feels heavier than it should. And he may be surprised by his own reaction. Because that reaction reveals something he had been avoiding. You matter. Not because he decided that you should matter, but because somewhere along the way, his emotional system decided before his conscious mind did. That is the strange thing about falling for someone. The mind can remain in denial while behavior quietly tells the truth. He can tell himself that he is simply interested, while remembering details he has no reason to remember. He can tell himself that he is not attached, while noticing your absence. He can tell himself that your opinion does not matter, while caring deeply about how you perceive him. He can tell himself that losing you would be fine, while becoming visibly affected by the possibility. And eventually, the contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. Because the more he tries to keep his feelings contained, the more they begin appearing somewhere else. In his attention. In his memory. In his patience. In the way he makes room for you. In the way he notices your emotional changes. In the way he becomes uncomfortable when something between you feels unresolved. In the way he starts protecting a connection he once believed he could take or leave. That is when attraction has already crossed a line. He is no longer simply drawn to you. He is emotionally invested in what happens between you. And perhaps that is the part he is trying hardest not to reveal. Not that he wants you, but that you can affect him. Because wanting someone can still feel like power. You can desire someone and walk away. You can find someone beautiful and remain emotionally untouched. But attachment creates a different kind of vulnerability. Once another person becomes emotionally significant, their presence can lift you, their distance can unsettle you, and their rejection can reach places your pride cannot protect. That is why the man who is falling for you may sometimes appear more controlled precisely when his feelings are becoming stronger. He is not necessarily becoming colder. He is becoming more aware of what he has to lose. And the more he realizes that, the harder he tries to behave as though nothing has changed. But feelings have a strange way of escaping through behavior. He can control his confession. He can control his words. He can control how much he admits. What becomes much harder to control is where his attention goes when he is not thinking about controlling it. And if you have ever wondered why a man seemed to care without ever clearly saying that he cared, why he remembered things he should have forgotten, why your distance affected him more than he wanted to show, why he became strangely protective of the connection, or why he seemed almost uncomfortable with how much you could affect him, there may have been something happening beneath all of it. He was not necessarily trying to hide attraction. He was trying to hide attachment. Because the frightening realization was never simply, I want her. It was, her presence has started to matter to me. And once a person reaches that point, pretending becomes much harder. Because you can hide desire behind distance. You can hide attraction behind indifference. But when someone has quietly become part of your emotional world, their absence starts exposing the truth. And sometimes the person who spent the most time trying to convince you that you meant nothing is the person who had already begun realizing, long before you did, that you meant far too much.